This is Crystal from Unclaimed Bands with Fauxtron. Did I say that right?
Did.
I'm bad at French. This is French. Okay, so I'm here with...
I'm Brian Wales.
Brian Eberly.
That's two Brians.
Renee Belsky.
Not a Brian.
Pat.
And not a Brian. But I was confused when I met you guys. All right, so what's the key to your sound?
So the main key to our sound is the fact that actually all four of us are songwriters. We all can basically play each other's instruments. We all have very different influences. So when we come together, it's kind of we each have our own unique approach to how we play things. And then when we sit down, we take each of our own approaches and kind of it just melds into this different thing that we didn't anticipate when we first started. So, I'll bring a certain type of 90s alternative influence. We've got some pop influences like some spacey rock. It kind of just all starts to meld together. So each one of us kind of knows what we want to do. When we get together, it just turns into something that's greater than the sum of its parts.
I'm really shocked because usually when you get four songwriters in a room, it ends up in an argument and a fist fight.
No, and actually, that's actually one of the great things because, we have such good chemistry among the band is that you'd think that with each having our own distinct take on things, it would end up with no, your ideas stink and blah, blah, blah. But actually, we just sit down and we respect each other and have so much fun all the time that we just kind of go for it. And when someone says, hey, let's try this new thing out, and it's cool, it doesn't work, whatever, we don't really mind. We just kind of work together and we just want the song to sound as cool as it can by the end of the day.
That's awesome. I applaud your lack of violence.
Yeah, we don't really have, there's no ego hang-ups. No one's just already, too big for their own britches and all that. No one thinks that they're so we just have a good time.
All right, let's go around and get everyone's influence.
So my main influences are 90s alternative. I love Soundgarden, Beck. I actually also love jazz, so even Miles Davis is something I really like.
I bring more of the punk influence. They'll make a really nice sounding song, and then I come in and fuck it up. So I just make everything sound really dirty and trashy, but it somehow works.
I love it. I love it.
I listen to some far out kind of stuff, a little psychedelic. I like Pink Floyd, Tame Impala, stuff like that. Anything that sounds different from what you normally hear on the radio.
Not really too many to list. I try to just
So list the first one you're thinking of right now.
The first one? I just try to be myself,
That's a non-answer.
Nah, that's a total answer.
We're going to stare at him until he thinks of one.
What do you want, a band?
Rick Astley, he's really into
Yeah.
Is your name Pat?
I like Meatloaf.
my middle name is
Cool.
All right, so you take all of those influences, you throw it in the pot, and it comes out awesome?
It does, actually. And you think sometimes it'd be weird. We even have one song where it started out sort of like a mid-tempo rocker, but by the end of it, it ends up being there's a whole rap section that we didn't even think about when we first came in, but it was the bass part came in and it was spacey and funky, and then I played a drum beat along to it and the guitar's going along and made it a little funky, and then she says, let's rap over it. We never would have thought going into it that was going to work, but at the end of the day, it's you start out with this mid-tempo pop song, and by the end, you're rapping hardcore. It's pretty cool.
I'm impressed because I can't even rap along to Eminem. So I'm you're going to write your own lyrics and do it in front of people. That's great. That's great. All right. So what's your overall philosophy when it comes to songwriting?
So we kind of already covered a little bit of it, but what we really want to do is write something that we think sounds good, just pleasing to listen to, but also since we've all been playing music for quite some time, we like to have, like I say, a lot going on under the hood. It's kind of hard to play, and maybe it's a little intricate. We're jumping parts back and forth, but it's still very melodic and it flows. So it's the audience doesn't have to sit there and think about what am I listening to. It's just sort of it's a smooth sounding song, but it moves along. It doesn't repeat a lot. It never gets dull, and it just kind of flows to the end. And when you're done, we move on to the next song, and it might sound like a completely different genre because we kind of like to genre hop a little bit and have each song really be distinct so that they don't run together and try and so when people listen to us, it's each song really has its own identity instead of being stuck in one sound that just drones on.
Oh, awesome. That's really cool. So do you guys have anything coming up in the future?
At 10:40, we're playing inside.
I mean, more in the future, maybe a show or an album.
Well, right now we're getting ready to record. We're kind of getting the funds together. We've been playing. This is actually our 10th show tonight.
Okay.
So, but we've made a nice chunk of change that we're going to throw towards doing an EP. And then after that, we're going to start looking for more shows in the city. but we really want to get like a professional sounding EP recorded first. I mean, I have an impromptu studio on basement where we make demos to get your foot in the door somewhere, but we're kind of looking forward to going to the next step, getting on the radio. And that's what we're going to have to do with making these recordings. That's what we want to do next. So.
All right. So where can people keep up with what you guys are doing?
So you can find us on the Facebooks. It's just Fauxtron at Facebook, but we're also on Bandcamp. So it's fauxtron.bandcamp.com.
I think you should spell it. It's a little bit hard to spell.
It's Fauxtron, like an off-brand transformer, Fauxtron. We also have a YouTube page.
Okay.
And in fact, a couple of days we'll probably throw a video up there of tonight's performance. So
Awesome.
cool.
All right. So this is Crystal with Fauxtron.